This is it, people. This is the one you've been waiting 4 hours for us to talk about.
Dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun, dun-dun-dun.
That's almost the Avengers
I still
theme.
don't have it.
That's almost it.
That's
So
good.
we're going to talk about Avengers Endgame. And as you just heard, we have a special guest here. Her name is Justine Barrera.
Woo!
Yeah.
What up, what up, what up? It's my podcast persona.
And
what up?
we have selected you to join us on this because I noticed how much you were watching all the MCU movies and posting about it on Instagram.
I know, I
was
felt-
like, she's on board.
Yeah, I felt very honored to be a part of this exploration.
So since you are the new part of the podcast, why don't you tell us just kind of briefly your history with the MCU films, like where you're coming from in this movie, what you kind of hoped was going to happen. Yeah, I'll just let you go.
You know, Iron Man was great. Saw most of them in theaters. And then when Avengers came out, the first one, that's when I was like, whoa, this is special. I'm getting behind this 100%. And so after that, every movie was like either at midnight or first thing Saturday or Friday morning, I was like going to see those movies. But I hadn't watched all of them in a row ever, because why would you? There's 20 films.
Yeah, why would we do that?
Crazy
But
people.
it was really, really fun rewatching all of them. And then, watching Infinity War, it still struck me the same way it did in theaters. The 3 times I saw it in theaters.
Oh, yeah.
But I was really excited for this. I didn't know, I had a couple predictions of what was going to happen, but I just didn't know. And I didn't want to read anything about it. I didn't want to expect anything. I just wanted to be in a movie and watching it. So,
All right.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Is that what you mean? Or
Yeah, basically.
That's like a lot. Like when I was like, oh, you went and watched it like Friday morning. Like you went in on a lot of them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Are you sad that it's done? Or are you happy that it's done?
I mean,
That's how you define done.
Well, that this
Yeah.
saga, this is kind of helping me understand like more why people are like, do you watch Star Wars forwards or backwards or like what order and stuff? Like I feel like what they're gonna do is, people are gonna see like this whole new Black Widow like enterprise or whatever, and they're not gonna know this backstory, and I'm gonna be like that old person that's like, you gotta watch it in this order.
yeah. I remember when Chris Hemsworth was Thor. Yeah. I do think it is going to be interesting now that Disney owns Fox and X-Men and all that. So that's what I'm more excited about is like, I'm happy this is over because again, when you put it all together, you're like, wow, this has been 10 years and 21 movies, I think, or is this 22nd?
This is the 22nd.
22nd movie or 22 movies. So I am like, when I think about it in that way, I'm like, oh yeah, it definitely needs to be done. Like this is good. But, movie theater, they're going to reboot everything. So I do think it will be interesting now that they own the rights to those other Marvel characters of what they're going to do in future movies. So
Definitely interested to see how that's going to shake out.
and I was never a comic book nerd, and I say nerd affectionately, obviously, because I'm a Harry Potter nerd to the core. But I was never into the comic books. I didn't know about them. They just weren't in my world. And so I would go to see these movies with friends who were, and I found that I enjoyed being like, so in the comics, what is, this? And when they had the answer, that was really enjoyable. So I do think that is a testament of these movies of like, I had no background info on them and I just love these stories so much. And like, that's entertaining to me is like, I feel like I get to nerd out even though I was brought into this world just through the films and like, it's so like, that was what was exciting to me also.
I think that's probably a good way to do it too, because the comics have changed so much over the years, and there's so many different iterations of the characters that when they like finally land on one and they're like, all right, this is what it's going to be now.
Yeah.
It's invariably going to upset some of fans that expected all the characters to be something else.
Yeah, and that way I'm almost not disappointed ever in a movie because I'm like, well, I don't know what the original thing is. It's like, it sounds good to me.
I'm down with this character relationship.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, the Hulk and Black Widow are
Why
dating?
not?
All right.
this works for me.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Do they not do that in the comic books?
I don't think so. Or I don't.
Was that created?
It's not really a big. His girl is usually Betty Ross, the Liv Tyler from the movie. Like that's usually his girl. And
I see.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Ooh, I wonder.
Black Widow has had a romance with Hawkeye in the comics, So the fact that they were like, no, we're going to keep that platonic and have her crush on Hulk was like kind of a big thing.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And that's just what a friend, again, and my nerd comic book friend, I was like, did they date in the comics? And she had said, like, I don't think so. So
yeah,
that's what I
But it's also like, I don't know, maybe in some comic in 1969, they like had one comic where they dated or something.
Yeah.
Like, nobody knows the entire history of all this stuff. It's impossible.
If anyone can take on the strength of Hulk, it's Black Widow.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh,
so
yeah. The power
I'm here
of
for
emotion
it.
to calm a rage monster.
Yeah, I am here for it.
Okay, so since this is the end of the end of the end, this is gonna be spoiler filled. We're gonna talk about spoilers. So if you are not down for spoilers, you should probably pause the podcast until you've seen the movie, because we're gonna spoil the fuck out of it. Everything that happened, every single thing, we're gonna talk about it. So I'm gonna give you a couple more seconds to pause this before we start diving into it, because I don't know, maybe you're on a different app.
Iron Man dies, and he kills.
We tried.
He kills
Wait,
Thanos,
I haven't seen it. Was I supposed to watch this before?
That's what happened to me, motherfuckers. I'm so mad. Spoiling.
Because they're both.
Exactly.
Yeah, both things are dirty.
Yeah.
Yeah, so spoiler. Sorry. I just wanted to get it out there.
Yeah, Amber was live, and somebody just started, typing spoilers into the stream.
Blasphemy.
The issues with our society. Okay.
I saw a news story that someone immediately left the theater and started shouting spoilers to the theater and got the shit beat out of him.
Whoa.
Which is like, I mean, that's extreme,
I mean,
but
you
also, I get it. You don't just shout hateful things,
Yeah.
or like things that are going to ruin a movie into a crowd that's about to go see the movie.
Right. Like, I was mad because it happened like 2 hours beforehand, but it also happened 2 hours beforehand after watching 21 fucking movies leading up to this. It's like people are putting effort. It's like you're literally killing people's joy. Like, I am going to do this because this is something that I've invested in for whatever reason I've invested in it. And then for someone else to know that and just come to you and be like, I'm going to ruin this shit for you because I want to. Because
it's
I
hilarious.
Yeah.
Like, no.
It's not hilarious. Like, do I think he should have gotten his ass beat? Not so much. I just think he shouldn't exist. I think he should have disappeared
He
with
shouldn't
the
have been
snap.
allowed to see the movie. So this
You
movie,
should sign an NDA clause before entering this
should.
Right?
theater.
You should be able to get
You
sued.
should have to.
That's what
Yeah,
Marvel should
absolutely.
do.
I mean,
So
shit.
so this movie is already breaking all of the records.
All of them?
All the records, all the box office records. In its first
Wow.
5 days of release, it's already crossed $1 billion worldwide.
Whoa.
Its opening weekend just here in the U.S. is $350 million.
That's insane.
And the previous record was $250 million for Star Wars The Force Awakens. So this movie beat it by like $100 million.
Whoa.
So I think it's fair to say people are hyped about this. I think it's fair to say people
Yeah.
are putting in the work.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they're like, this is 10 years of my life.
Yeah, I've been invested,
I have to watch
I've
it.
been invested since I was 17 when Iron Man came out. This is crazy.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the movie itself and how we feel about certain. We'll go character by character, kind of, just in the first part. It's a complicated movie. It's kind of broken into 3 acts. There's the first act, which is the grief act, where everyone is dealing with the ramifications of the end of Infinity War.
So depressing.
And it was dark. Like, the actual movie, I was like, what lens are they using? It's so dark, which I get. But I was like,
bleak.
let's brighten this up.
Yeah, that was their whole, like, this is where you're going to be. Especially in comparison to all the other movies where it starts. It's like, we're going to have an action scene.
Yeah.
Get into this. Shit's blowing up. People are talking. This is just like, you're going to be depressed with us.
Humor.
Yeah. Even when it's like, all right, we're going to go get him. Cheers, we're going to fix everything. And then it's just like the ultimate letdown of like, no, he made it impossible. So there's nothing we can do. It's over.
Yeah, not even Captain Marvel. Like, she comes in and's like, I'm going to kill him. And you're like, yeah. And then immediately like, oh.
Oh, it doesn't matter.
It's still not
You can't
fun.
fix what he did. It
Yeah.
sucks.
Yeah. So what's the second part?
So the second act is the time heist.
Yeah, it
Love
is.
it. Love it. I am here for time travel.
And I am here for heists.
Yeah.
And then the third act is everything that happens after the Hulk snaps. Which is like Thanos shows up and it's just war for the last hour of the movie. So the first part, we're dealing with grief. We'll go kind of through how people are handling stuff. would talk Captain America's leading a support group,
Yeah.
which is
Love it.
super depressing, but also so in character that he's just like trying to be the one person being optimistic about everything.
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, I guess we have to just make the best of it and move on because otherwise we all should have died.
Yeah.
Hawkeye, he's that's how it opened. That's
Ooh, yeah.
I mean, that's sad. I don't think he's dealing with it very well. He's fucking people up. But
Yeah.
you don't know that in the first part of Grief, do you? When do you find out
Yeah,
that it's him?
Yeah, they kind of mention it. War Machine, right? Mentions it to
Yes.
Black Widow. He's like, we know who's doing these
Yeah,
rampages.
he's like, hey, so I'm in Mexico. There was a cartel that got completely killed, and not
Yeah.
a single one of them got to pull out their guns. They didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
And Black Widow's like,
she's
oh,
like,
well,
ugh.
maybe it was a rival gang. And he's like, you know it was Barton.
Right. Well, if your whole freaking family
Yeah.
disappeared in front of your eyes, like, I mean, what would you?
Yeah.
I would
Oh,
rage
yeah.
the fuck
Right
out.
after your daughter hits a bullseye, like,
Yeah.
that's gotta hurt.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
she's
like-
following in her father's footsteps.
Yeah.
Where'd she go?
Bye.
Yeah.
Oh, gone forever.
I did like that. I like that he was connecting with his daughter while the two boys were with, that's my feminist is showing. But but I did.
We accept
Yeah.
that here.
Yeah, no, we're all about that.
But yeah, but I did like that I was like, cool, she's like the one that
Right.
he's like with. I like that.
So how did you feel about the big epic shot of the all women
That is not
stepping? I know,
I know,
but-
that's a
No,
skip
okay,
ahead.
but
She gonna bring up feminism. Let's bring it up.
Yeah.
Let's talk about it.
I did love it because I loved in Infinity War, there's a moment when they're in Wakanda battling and that alien girl is like about to attack.
Proxima Midnight. as
Yeah.
played
Oh, is that
by-
her name? Okay.
Yeah, as played by.
I think it's
Carrie
Alien
Coon.
Girl. No. It's Alien Girl.
Yeah, Alien Girl.
Lady. No, she's about to fight, I think, Scarlet Witch. And she said something like, you'll die alone. And then you just hear Black Widow goes, she's not alone. And then it's the three women. And I thought that was
And
really
also
powerful.
Okoye,
Yeah.
camera spins around.
Yeah. Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
So good.
And then, so I did like this. There's a moment where I kind of like, okay, I get it. But I also was like, whoa, there's so many women in this universe that's when I was like, oh, that's cool. Like
Like, wow,
all
there's
the
enough
women.
for an entire team. Like,
Yeah,
look at
even
this.
Pepper Potts. I was like, yeah, get it, girl.
Pepper's in a
Right?
suit.
Yeah.
We got Wasp. We got Valkyrie.
Yeah.
We were
We
in
got
it.
Captain
Yeah, just
Marvel.
that's what I liked about it. Is they just kept coming where I was like, oh, right. Oh, yeah,
We've been here
her.
this whole time.
Yeah.
Huh.
Which I thought that was
And Black
pretty
Widow's not even there
badass.
because she dies
Ugh.
in this movie.
I don't want to talk about that.
That was my cry point. That was when I stopped. Okay, because I'm like, I don't think I'm gonna cry, and so I had that in my head to like kind of not, because I'm really fucking stubborn.
Yeah.
And I knew I was going to, but I also was like trying to make it like a personal challenge for myself to just like watch the movie, enjoy the movie, put it together. Like, don't start crying because you're not gonna be able to stop.
Yeah.
And that's what happened. She died,
gonna
and
be able
after
to
that
stop.
point, I was just like crying here and there, on and off. But she was the point that started it, because I was just like, you were the one that
Okay, here's what upset me about that. Gamora's cyborg sister, what's her name?
Nebula.
Nebula, thank you, sorry. Nebula, you know what happens at Vormir when you're talking about like, oh, the stone's in Vormir. Give us a heads up. Like, hey, FYI,
Oh, someone's gonna have to kill somebody.
yeah, my dad that I hate had to kill my sister that I love to get this stone. Just FYI. Like,
Right.
give me something.
Yeah.
I know you're a cyborg and don't think the same, but maybe just a very matter-of-fact moment of like, one of you will die. Safe
Right.
travels, or
By
something.
the way,
She did
Yeah.
pick bizarre moments to like reveal information to people
Yeah.
in this movie.
I was like, come on, girl.
that's true.
Give us a heads up.
That's true. And why can't that thing die? Like, can we sacrifice him? What if someone loved
What's that thing?
him? The thing with
The-
the face that got
Oh,
burned.
Red Skull?
Yeah.
What if like his wife or someone who actually like loved him in life came back and threw him over?
Well, I thought for sure they were like, no, we don't need to sacrifice. We're just gonna kick your ass and then get the stone. That's the moment I thought was
guess Nobody
coming.
tried that.
Yeah, or like, because I just kept thinking like, oh, they're gonna trick
They
us.
probably would have just like gone
Yeah.
through him. He's kind of ghosty.
Yeah, like we'll just climb down there and get it.
Yeah,
It's no big deal.
It's gotta be down there, right?
Yeah.
Who makes those rules?
But-
If you get
Yeah.
all the Infinity Stones,
What if we just pretend to be dead? Is the stone gonna
Yeah.
know?
This is where the Marvel comic book nerds are like, you can't just climb down the mountain. They're like, who is this girl in
Yeah,
this
people
podcast?
people just shut off the podcast.
Yeah.
Just shouting
Yeah.
at
they don't
us.
know what they're talking
Yeah,
about.
like, oh, you watch the movies, that's it. Don't you get it? So yeah,
Download is a download. Thank you.
yeah.
What are we? What? Oh.
Oh yeah.
What?
What are we? Wait, I was gonna say something, but then I realized we were in a loop.
Uh huh.
because it was in a back loop. We're
What
talking
kind of
about
loop?
the sections, and there was what kind of loop?
Right.
Time
travel.
You can't see it, but I'm doing my Doctor Strange arm waving.
Oh, I was a little sad. I mean, obviously, I get it. I just expected them all to be in more of the movie than they were in.
Dude, that was my thing
sure.
too. I was like, I like it, I don't love it.
I understand
because of that.
It's a passing of the torch, and so this movie's supposed to be centered mostly on the original Avengers, who
Right.
are all, in theory, not going to be in any more of these movies.
Yeah, the
Or some
original
of them
6.
might be, but I mean, who knows?
Maybe a
Like,
cameo or two, but not.
yeah. Like Captain America's probably not coming back, or Steve Rogers is. Captain America is coming back.
Damn
but he's
right.
coming back as Sam Wilson.
Yeah, which I love that.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
I don't feel like this is okay. We're on it. Hold on.
Okay.
I have always thought that he was such a down person from the beginning. Like how he got introduced is like Captain America's running laps about on your left. On your left, on your left.
Yeah.
Like for me, if someone did that shit, I'd be like, fuck you. I'm not going to help you with shit. You're such a
Yeah.
jerk. What are you talking about? But then, okay, Justin, I had the conversation. He's Captain America, like it's different. And it's true. But even so, he has been so down from the very beginning. Like, oh yeah, I'll do the secret mission with you. Sure, let's go.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'll
Take
fight
down
your best
S.H.I.E.L.D.?
friend.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Yeah, I
Whatever,
trust you.
I don't care. I'll
Yeah.
risk my life. Like, here we go. Like,
That's
I'll
what
do this.
I mean, we all have that friend, right? That's like, oh yeah, you want to go out
you're-
and take 10 shots and then order pizza and then try and drive to Vegas? I'll do that with
You're
you.
international fugitive. I'll help you smuggle
Yeah, like-
a terrorist out of the country.
I trust
Right.
my gut.
Totally.
Yeah.
So
love
I think
it.
he definitely proves he has
He's
without
earned the mantle.
exactly without
Yeah.
us even realizing how, or at least me, they were setting it up. I'm like, oh yeah, he's totally worthy of this. But it's specifically when he was like, I don't feel like that's mine. And then Captain America's like, of course it is. Like, what are you talking about? I was like, give the melanin
that was.
man.
I'm getting goosebumps right now
Yeah.
just remembering that
Yeah.
moment.
Such a great moment.
It was
Yeah.
insane. And so for all those things, those moments where, I mean, they are very eloquently done and creatively written, but I'm like, that is still a white ass man with blue eyes giving a black ass man this Captain
I thought about that
America
too.
title. And they do that with the women. They're like, even though it was 3 seconds, here's an all female battle scene. I'm interested to see if how that was received, or if that was even received by people who maybe originally would not have been open to that concept.
To a black man as Captain America?
Yeah, you tell me that in 2008 they were going to make a black man Captain America. That'd
Right.
be cool. No.
Well, that's what I was telling a friend the other day, because he had said something like, oh, I wish Black Panther had come out sooner. I said, oh, I agree.
Yeah.
But I do think we weren't ready then. / the special effects are so much better now, where actually that movie looks way cooler than it ever would have 8 years ago. That's a technicality.
You try to imagine a 2013 Black Panther.
Yeah.
And it's
it's kind of
the movies
badass.
they were putting out in 2013 were Thor: The Dark World.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Not great.
It's gonna look like that. I don't think I
Yeah.
want to see Wakanda.
Right.
Yeah, and it's that's obviously a dumb, or a very. I'm trying to be positive about it, but I'm
And
like,
also
well,
in 2013, they probably would have hired a white dude to direct that movie.
yeah, yeah.
There's been a big push since 2015 to with all the Oscars so white and everything about inclusivity and trying to actually make these changes.
Yeah, and then it showed by that movie breaking all the records at that time.
And by actually having the voice of somebody who understands the story that needs to be told, rather than the story that it's in the comics, so that's the story we're gonna tell.
Right. This is how we're gonna do it. I think that whole core group of nerd, no, I've read it, this is the way it is, this is the way it's always gonna be. Spider-Man is this white guy. That's it. That's the end. It is necessary in order to change, because all of those things were built in a world that was built for a specific type of person. And now we're hey, we're all here, so how are we gonna make this work for everybody, And I think they did it. They're doing a good job, because it is easing people in, weaning people into the necessary change after having set them up for it. And I didn't expect that going into it, watching it,
I think Stan Lee kind of set that up in the comics too, right? I think he sort of set up, obviously Black Panther, and I think Captain Marvel, they said the little girl in that movie, her best friend's daughter, I think they're saying she's going to be the next Captain Marvel or something. In the comics that was sort of set up. But I think this was all, I was just reading something about how Stan Lee's kind of an LGBTQ like icon because he sets up all these like the mutants of X-Men kind of it's about civil rights, but also like there's a little bit of gay rights in there and just people treating people who are different weird. And so I think like he sort of set that up, I think unknowingly. I don't think he was like, I'm gonna write something very unique and changing.
I think some of it was intentional, especially because like he created Black Panther at a time because like the KKK was like big in the country, and he got pushback from Marvel, and they were like, there's not enough white guys in this Black Panther comic. And so he was like, okay, well, Black Panther's going to leave Africa and go to the United States and fight Nazis or fight the KKK. And so there's a bunch more white guys in the comic. Yeah. All of them are evil.
They're evil, yeah.
You wanted this, right?
Yeah.
He was very pointed in his social messaging.
But I don't think he did it as a way to pander to anyone. It was like, right? It's like what he felt was right.
Needed. This is what we need.
Which I think...
But he was Jewish, and he grew up shortly after the World War II and the Holocaust.
Yeah.
So he understood the importance of normalizing others.
Yeah.
Or people who are perceived to be other. And so I think that the universe, in the movie universe, has thankfully kind of started aiming in that direction.
Yeah, they're also making it.
How do you feel about the new ruler of New Asgard?
Come on.
I mean, love it.
Look. I mean, if anyone can go from being an alcoholic to a king, I mean, what can we not do? You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
I did think, I was curious just for a moment of like, is that how you can just do it? Like the king is like, you know what? I'm here for it.
It's not a democracy.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
King can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, and it's the right choice. But I was like, oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I thought there was supposed to be like a scepter involved, like some sort of like knighting.
I mean, in the first Thor movie, like Odin stands in front of everybody. He's like, all right, Thor's the king now.
Yeah.
So everyone listen to him instead of me. At least. Well,
yeah. But at least that was like, this is my son. But yeah, you're sort of like
an official group around
because,
you.
Again, like I would love, like if that were me, I'd be like, yeah, I got this friend. She's super badass. She's way better at this than me.
If Thor had a kid, maybe it would be like, well, that's the leader. But since he doesn't have any, it's like, well, you could just appoint your successor then.
I mean, and he really does have his people's best interests at heart in that moment. He's like, I can't. And that's sort of been the thing from the first movie too. He was supposed to rule. Then at the end of that movie, he had told his father, like, I'm not ready for this. Like, I can't rule yet. Like, I need to go do other things. So I feel like they always set it up like he's going to rule, but he never actually rules the kingdom.
That's true.
That's from rewatching him.
Yeah. I was like,
did not catch that.
Doing the homework.
Yeah, 22-year-old Justine didn't catch that. But
so 22-year-old Justine saw a very different version of Thor than we saw in this movie.
Yeah. Oh, but I loved it.
Yeah.
But I'm a huge Big Lebowski fan. And that was my first thought was like, he looks like Lebowski. And then when Tony Stark says it, I was like, yes. I mean, obviously, I want to see those abs. I want to see the muscles.
Right.
But I do think it was such an interesting choice to make Chris Hemsworth fat.
Well, here's an interesting thing about the Lebowski call-out is that Lebowski's played by Jeff Bridges, who is in Iron Man.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. That is really funny.
So when he watches Lebowski, is he just like, you look like Obadiah?
Yeah, that is such a funny.
You look a lot like Obadiah.
Yeah, I do love that about this world is that it's like in our world. Like I love when I think it's the first Avenger, or I guess Age of Ultron maybe, that people are like, oh, they know the Avengers, they exist in our world. It would be like if we saw Thor walking down the street. Like, I like that they do that.
Well, they do the Hulk selfie in this one.
Yeah.
Oh my
God.
Kids.
Hipster Hulk.
Yes.
That's my friend Amber coined that. That's her thing.
That's pretty accurate.
my Amber.
So we should talk about Dr. Hulk.
Yeah.
His weird hybrid version of himself that he's created.
Yeah, he's got the brain of Banner and the body of Hulk.
But smaller.
Yeah, right? He's not as big, right?
No, he's definitely not as big. I think that was
he's a little smaller. He's a little less green.
Yeah. He has more facial hair. Yeah. It looks more like him. But I wonder if that was like, hey, our technology is better. We can make this look more
I was just going to ask
him.
that.
Yeah, or like, I don't know. I'm like, again, it matches the story. It matches the technology. Maybe it was the time to...
It does happen in the comics at one point.
Oh,
I
it does?
Yeah,
Okay.
that he finally figures out for like a storyline, and then he loses control again. But I think it's a nice ending for that character if they're ending the character for him to be like in control of his power.
I liked it, but I was also like thought there would be more of a payoff because the Infinity War, Hulk doesn't come out and he doesn't want to come out, and I thought we were kind of going to answer like that sort of question. I guess I'm okay with it being unanswered. I mean, I guess he kind of does explain like a little bit at brunch when they're having brunch together.
Right.
But
it's one of those Marvel things where they leave something at the end of a movie and they're like, maybe we'll explain this, and then the next movie, it's like an entire movie happened in between that they didn't make, or it's like he figured it out. All right.
Yeah, and you do have these 6 to 20 other characters that you have to flush out. So I get why we had to skip it, but I was sort of like, oh, okay, you're just hipster Hulk now. Got it.
This is fine.
But that was kind of like the second, because I remember you said in the, like, there was, which one was it? Asgard? Where they have to, one of the last Thor movie.
Yeah, Ragnarok.
Ragnarok, right. It's like, oh, if he turns into Hulk again, he might be stuck there forever and never get the chance to come back out. And, like, they didn't give that actual moment of him, like, turning into Hulk, like, the amount due. I didn't notice that when we watched it, but when Justin and I watched it the second time, I'm like, yeah, he was, like, literally sacrificing his existence just in that moment.
To fight that dog thing.
Yeah.
Right. On a planet he's never been in space before.
Yeah.
He's down.
Which was one of my favorite moments of Thor Ragnarok, when he's like, you want to know who I really am? And then it just cuts to him falling like a dog or like a doll. And I was like, that is incredible. So good. And then of course he comes, you know.
I hope he's not done. Do you think it's like, because I mean, one of the things I liked at the end of the movie, they showcased everyone, they gave everyone else, their little bit. And I think at first I was upset because another spoiler was there's nothing at the end. There's no scene. We're not doing that this time. Yeah. And then I asked Justin if he like did that upset you? And he's like, no, I don't think I wanted it. And when he told me that, I was like, absolutely not. That's ridiculous. Like, no. Yeah. No. Because, spoiler, I don't actually think we said that. Justin 100% watched this movie without me.
Yeah, I saw it twice this weekend.
He did.
Yeah, which that was my plan, but it fell through. I don't have his stamina.
That's fine. He was going in. He would do it.
Yeah. I needed to see it opening day because I know that people are trolls and spoil stuff.
That was why, 9:30 a.m. I was like, I'm there.
I wonder if that was a part of it. Because, like, I keep saying, I'm like, do we think people are spoiling it more or less than they would have? And do you think they would have spoiled it more and less without this whole push of, don't spoil Endgame? Like, I'm in the mind of that asshole kid that fucked it up for me. And, like, I don't know if he would have spoiled Endgame if someone told him not to. Like, if someone told him not to, it's like, that's why he's doing it. Versus, like, he's like, oh, I know people care about this, so I'm really gonna fuck it up.
And he's also probably 13.
I hope so.
That's the other annoying thing. It's like, I just know that you're just a twerp. And, like, I can't.
You're gonna grow out of this and you're gonna realize you were an asshole, but you still stole a bunch of people's joy.
Or he's gonna not grow out of it and get to vote at 18 and be someone that I really want to disappear.
Oh my god, that's funny.
You're an adult now, bruh. You're an adult now.
If we were in Thanos' world, I would hope you would be the 50% that dies.
Yeah. I would think really hard before I snapped. I want to disappear Thanos' army and Nazis.
Yeah.
Okay.
That 13-year-old boy that trolled me.
Yeah. Anyone who spoiled this movie also disappears.
You are gone from this universe. Yes.
All right, so, and how do we feel about... So let's talk about Time Heist.
Let's talk about Time Heist.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how
great name.
How Ant-Man saved everyone.
Okay.
On an accident.
Here's what I love about Ant-Man as a character, which again I've noticed from re-watching this, is that he is us as an audience. Like when Ant-Man first meets Captain America, he's like, oh wow, Captain America, you're awesome. Like he's like, oh, like that would be us if we
I know you too.
Yeah. And I love that about this movie. When he talks about Captain America's butt.
That is America's
but he's just,
ass.
He like, because he's not one of the original 6, but he's around. But yeah, he's just that perfect, like, lighthearted guy of like, does anyone know how quantum physics works? Because I don't, but I think we can figure out time travel. Where you're like, yeah, you're great. Like, he's just the perfect, like, he's the audience or whatever. Or he's us trying to be like, well, maybe Ant-Man can figure it out because he just went back in time. You know, like, he's that, like, opening for us, which I thought was a really good idea to add, like, a newer Avenger who's, like, a little young. I mean, he's he's not young, but new to the.
He's 50.
Yeah. Ugh,
He's been posting about that online.
Yeah. Everyone's been
50?
posting.
He's 50. He
Yeah,
just turned
and he
50
looks
this
25.
year.
Oh my.
He looks better than he did in Clueless. Is like usually the.
Damn. Yeah. You know what? That
Good on you, Paul Rudd.
long
Yeah.
career. Long career. How do you go from Clueless
I know.
to Ant-Man and the Avengers? Like, who is his
Judd
agent?
Apatow. No, I don't know. Like, but
Damn.
I mean, yeah,
That's interesting.
But-
I didn't even think about that till now. He is old.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I do love how they use time travel, and they basically said, it's not like these movies you saw. We're doing it this way, which was such a good idea to bring us in. So you don't have the people that are like, well, actually, if you mess with the
Yeah.
past, is your future. It's
They
like,
set up a very specific set of rules and explain it a couple times with a couple characters. It
Yeah.
helps that the ancient one gets to like create an illusion in midair to
Yeah.
to demonstrate it.
Yeah.
yeah,
It's very smart.
It's not
Yeah.
like
Very
Hulk
strategic.
with a chalkboard, which I would have liked
Right.
that scene too.
That would have been
is
good.
Dr. Hulk with a tiny piece of chalk, like trying to draw
yeah,
it and,
teaching.
like maybe erasing it with his big hands and being like, whatever, I don't know. I'm
Let
gonna
me
go
start
I'm gonna go
over.
talk to the ancient one.
Yeah, like them not getting it, and then he Hulk rages just a little bit. Just
And
gets
I
a little
love
mad.
that Nebula is just like obviously idiots.
Yeah.
The way time travel works.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, she's got a lot of like good, dry. Yeah.
Can Nebula die? She's made up of. So how much of her is like
the-
machine?
in the
versus-
She
way-
says mostly parts, right?
Yeah. I think in the way that any machine can die, it's like it just can't turn on anymore. Like its parts don't work. But I think if you just
Yeah.
constantly are replacing her parts, she probably will just stay that way forever.
Because maybe she has a
Right.
heart, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
The
Yeah.
hearts can keep going in theory, right? If you don't like fill them with like cholesterol and like smoking, and I mean, like technically the reason why we die is because our organs and shit start to fail. So if she is mostly a machine and has like organs that aren't failing, it's really
She's
just someone.
mechanical.
I think you've
organs.
unlocked eternal life.
Dun, dun, dun,
I gotta find me a
I
machine
mean-
scientist.
Put our consciousness into machines and
Yeah.
then live
It's
forever.
gonna
But
happen.
Probably is.
the time heist was so great in how they put them in other movies, like that. Oh, my heart.
It made Thor: The Dark World actually matter.
Yeah.
Like, oh, I'm glad I watched that one
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah.
There's a whole scene here.
Yeah,
And,
and-
wow, Thor talks to his mom for the first time.
Yeah,
ever.
that was kind of a sweet moment. I know. She's like, "We love mom." There she is. Like,
Yeah, she's over there standing by Dad, who's yelling
Yeah.
at us.
yeah, that's
She has
true.
that nice scene with like Loki in the second movie, but
Yeah,
she has no
'cause they have
relationship
their-
with Thor at all.
I know. I was just sort of a little like, "Oh, did I miss something? Is there like a Thor mother moment?" But yeah, there's not, right? Like,
Yeah, this is the Thor
They
mother.
give
moment.
yeah,
Motif
which was
here.
sweet because again, it's another strong woman who was like,
Mm-hmm.
"I know what's going on. Like, I'm a witch,"
Look,
which I was
know
like,
you're
"That's
from the
cool."
future.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, it doesn't matter. He's like gonna tell her that like she's about to die.
Yeah.
She's like, shh. Like, do you
Yeah,
think
she's like,
that-
"We're good."
Come on, go do what you gotta do.
Yeah.
It was really nice.
That was a cool.
So this was a question that I had when they were announcing that they were going to be doing a time heist.
Mm-hmm.
Is what would be the easiest and most efficient ways to collect all these stones throughout all of history? Like, I feel like trying to steal the Space Stone from the end of the Battle of New York is not the easiest place to get the Space Stone.
Right.
I feel like they eventually do just go to 1970 and take it out of a locker. Like,
Yeah.
that's easier. And there's, I think, plenty of times throughout the Marvel history that these characters know of where these stones are, where it would be easier to take them.
Yeah, because it was in Asgard for a while, right? Like,
yeah,
not
the
yeah, but
Tesseract was in the vault on Asgard
Yeah.
for a long time.
yeah. So where I feel like Thor could be like, "Oh, we'll get
We
that
can just-
red one.
Right.
Walk into my house.
That's not a stone; it's matter." That
Right,
he was
like
very
we'll go
upset
to
about.
Asgard in 2013 for the Reality Stone.
Yeah.
We'll go there in 2011 for the
Well,
Tesseract.
I guess the thing was they only had one jump, right? But
But they could have, each character, I think, could have jumped to a different
Yeah.
time. Because they all got one jump back and one jump to
Right.
Back to the Future.
yeah,
So-
part two.
right.
Yeah,
So they could have sent everyone to a totally different time. They could have had 6 missions. They just decided because of that
buddy
nice
system.
Scarlett Johansson line of like, if we go to the right time, 3 stones are in New York. Like,
Yeah.
also there's a giant alien battle going on, so maybe it's not the easiest
Yeah.
time to try to take them.
Yeah, I agree. Or like, yeah, it was just in New York when Nick Fury had it at the beginning of Avengers. Like, do that before Loki comes to that world, before he opens that
Right.
portal.
Like if Captain America shows up and is like, "Hey, Nick, I need that." Nick's
Well-
gonna be like, "Okay, you're Captain America."
But maybe though, because they weren't there for that moment. Like they only knew of when it was on Earth because of that
True.
battle. So
But Thor should have known that it was in the vault. on
yeah,
Asgard.
you're right.
So
Yeah.
that I can
But
understand.
Lebowski Thor, he's had a lot to drink.
It's true.
He's not
Yeah.
focusing.
That's
Yeah.
true. He
But
wasn't
yeah.
great at explaining the reality
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
He's in his field.
He's just
But-
talking about his old girlfriend.
But yeah, I agree. There was definitely
I thought they
add an
honestly,
extra 20 minutes.
I
that,
just thought they were gonna jump to more of the movies.
yeah, that I would have liked
expected
that.
more of interactions between different. Like I thought
Yeah.
they were gonna like redesign some of the action scenes and place them into previous scenes,
Which would be great. Just them like running by. Like
Yeah. Not
Yeah.
that I'm upset that this is what happened, but when they were like announcing like this is what we're gonna do, I was like, oh shit, we're gonna like revisit all of the classic scenes throughout this entire
Yeah.
franchise.
Which I think would have made, because I agree, I felt like I wanted them to come back sooner. Like they were after they undid what Thanos did, and then like I wanted those characters, Guardian or Star-Lord, all of them to come back sooner. And maybe I wouldn't have,
yeah.
I would have been more satisfied, you're right, if they were like, if they all had gone through the earlier movies earlier. Because then it's like, oh, I can see these people. Oh, there's my Star-Lord. You know, I mean, we do see him, but like, I
so
feel like
brief.
I would have been more accepting of like this taking so long for them to come back if we could have seen them earlier.
Yeah.
Because
There's also the point where like the Mind Stone, they just have it for the entirety of Age of Ultron. So
Yeah.
if they go back to 2015 and take the scepter from themselves, that's
Yeah.
probably a lot easier than trying to take it from the Hydra shield.
yeah, which I was like, I enjoyed that moment, but only because I just rewatched Captain America, the second one.
Right.
Winter Soldier.
The,
Like,
the
that's the-
elevator moment.
Yeah, because my dad was like, "What's Hydra?" And I was like, "I'll explain later. It's Nazis. It's Shield, but not Shield." Like, but I liked that moment as a fan. But I was thinking like only because I just
Right.
remembered what Hydra was.
Yeah.
But yeah, also that Captain America scene, fight scene with himself, beautiful,
Great.
wonderful.
So good.
Didn't even mind the butt comment at the end.
Yeah, no,
Like-
that felt like such a Chris Evans thing,
Yeah.
not a Steve Rogers thing.
No, totally.
That is America's ass.
I
Yeah.
am leaving, bitches.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Like, take a look, guys.
Uh-huh.
Gave the world what they wanted. To Chris Evans.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. I thought my favorite moment in that fight is when old Chris or young Chris Evans
Yeah.
is like, I could do this all day, and new Chris Evans is like, yeah, I know.
I know.
I'm
Yeah.
so annoying. Like,
Yeah, I did like like even he like rolls his eyes at his like cheesy comments, you know, like okay,
oh, God,
that's what it
maybe that is
sounds like.
annoying to
Yeah,
everyone else.
Yeah, it gave the opportunity to show a lot of character development there, which like kind of like
Yeah.
bridges gaps for people who might not have seen all of the other movies. It's like, oh, okay, like I feel that now because he
Yeah.
did go on such a freaking journey from like I don't care, I follow orders, all I want to do is fight for my country, and it's everything is one-sided. To like he had a massive story, and
yeah. I was gonna say I didn't like Captain America until Civil War, but I think it was because I was like, oh, you finally are like listening to your head and your heart and not following orders. I also have a problem with
Following
orders.
Yeah, same.
So that's
Agreed.
probably in me of like, what are you doing just following blindly? Like I don't get that. My brain doesn't work like that, I should say.
Right. Which
so
is like the Winter Soldier is the movie where that's the lesson he learns. is,
yeah, and he's like, this is my
Orders are
buddy.
bad.
I believe my friend.
Sometimes.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. That's when I was like, oh, okay, I think I like Captain America. I mean, I've always loved Chris Evans, but now I'm like, okay, I'm on your side.
Granted, I mean, he did also disobey orders in the first movie where they're like, you're supposed to just be a prop and you're going to sing
Yeah.
a song. And he's like, I'm actually going to lead a mission and rescue my friends.
Yeah,
And they're
that's
like,
true.
Don't do that. Why would you do that? And he's like,
Bye.
because they're my friends.
Yeah, he's like,
it's the
what's
right thing to do.
Yeah.
yeah. All right, that's true. Okay. Okay, fine.
Yeah, no, the Captain America movies were always my favorite until
Yeah.
Guardians, and then they took over. But like,
Yeah.
Guardians and Cap are like way up there
They're
for
good.
me.
Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty good.
Interesting. I wonder. Well, I don't know. I mean, I like Guardians, but I don't know if like another. Well, whatever Black
Maybe
Panther
when there's
into.
more Black Panther movies.
Yeah.
he's
Well-
top of the charts. And Captain Marvel, her movies are gonna be so good.
Well, and I always remember when people would say, when they would see the new, like a different, like a DC movie, or like maybe I didn't see Iron Man 3 in theaters, but I remember saying like, oh, is it as good as Avengers? Because in my head at that time, and for a while, that was the best superhero movie I'd ever seen personally, because I think it was the first time, all these characters from different movies, and it was funny. Like, the early ones weren't, well, Iron Man was pretty funny, but like, they weren't that funny. There wasn't that much humor. Like, Thor was very serious. There was a few jokes in
like
Thor.
Shakespearean.
Yeah, because Kenneth Branagh directed. Yeah. But it's good, but it was just the first time where I was like, this is a great movie, and I am on board from now until forever, until I die.
That's kind of the same feeling you had when we were doing the marathon.
Yeah, I was like, this is where
Avengers really like turned it around for you.
Yeah, I'm tired of watching these misogynistic, privileged white men get what they want. That's what it was.
Yeah,
because they're all shitty people at the beginning of their movie, except Captain America, who's like never not a good person.
Right, but he's shitty because you're like, ugh, such a goody.
Right.
Or not shitty, but you're such a like, ugh. Okay.
You're not on board with him. You don't. Like, you're not on his side, or I don't know. I don't think there's. And it's interesting because I feel like that is something that's kind of happening with Quill with Guardians. It's like, even though it's like later on in the series, he still has the same problematic issues that most of the men in these franchise have when they started. So I'm also interested to see like his character development, and I think through what he's about to do with Gamora, or whatever that might look like, is gonna help him like really get in touch with his issues, because he like fucked shit up because of her in the movie. Like, he lost his cool, he ruined the mission, and I was like, come on, man, I thought we were past this bullshit.
I know. I kind of didn't mind that though, because I was like,
it's so in character.
I was like, I get it. Like, you love Gamora, like, and this awful person just murdered her. Like, I just like
for
her
some
dad.
dumb shit.
Yeah,
her dad just murdered her.
Yeah, like, I freaking
so that he
get
could
it,
kill
man.
more people.
Yeah.
Right.
But you're right. But it's like, I do feel like a woman would never make that decision. Or like, they would never.
Like, keep it together.
Yeah.
Well, it's like Potts at the end, right? Because it's the same thing with Tony. When Tony found out that Winter Soldier kills his parents, like, he lost his shit. They just cannot control their emotions. But like, at the end, when Tony's dying, Pepper's like, you can go, we're gonna be okay. Like, she could have been like, pew, 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 blow shit up, get the fucking time stone back, we're gonna do it again, I don't care. But like,
or like, I told you this would happen.
Right.
Whatever, like,
No, it was very
nice.
She was like, I get it, this will never, because she knows like this, you'll never not be able to do this. Like, rest. It's, we're cool.
Well, that's also an interesting point, because it's true. In Captain Marvel, like, she finds out that... Have you seen Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twice in theaters.
Okay. Excellent. She finds out towards the end, that the people who have been her teammates have taken her life from her, and reacts not by deciding, well, I need to murder your faces off. She just sends Jude Law back and is like, hey, you are a super douchebag who stole a lot of shit from me, but rather than get pissed off and murder your face, I'm just gonna stun you so you stop fighting me and send you home with a message, which is, I'm gonna tear this system down that thinks it's okay to steal from people.
Yeah. Well, and that line that she says to him, which is so perfect, and it's a little on the nose, but it's like so powerful. I still got
it's
like,
exactly right.
Yeah, her like, what does he say? Like prove to me you can beat me.
Calm your emotions. Beat me without your powers. That's the only way you'll really be aware.
Yeah.
And
she's like,
I don't have anything to prove to you.
Yeah, no need to. Yeah. Boom. And then like you said, then she's like, and I'm also going to be compassionate and like let you go and run for your mommy.
Yeah, like she has the ability to rip him in half.
Yeah.
If she wanted to.
Yeah.
And doesn't. And if Tony had her powers in that moment, he would have ripped Captain America and Bucky in half.
Definitely.
He would have.
Yeah.
That's so true, because it's all the way up there. So it's like when your rage is at that level and when your power is at a certain level, like they have to, like you have to like learn how to balance that. And I think she has been trained this whole time to keep manage of her emotions and do this and that. And it's like, well, when my emotions come into play, it's actually helpful. But it is true that the training that she did get to balance it, know when to turn it off, know when to turn it on, allows her to make those decisions. And I don't feel like men are given that opportunity to have that sort of training. It's like, don't cry, and the more angry you are, the more powerful you are, okay?
I was just gonna say, no one would say the word emotions to a man, usually, I guess. It, like in a script, you know, maybe in life, but like that word emotions, I was like, oh, I'm triggered. Or I was like, oh, this is what triggering feels like. Because, you are told as a young woman usually, like, emotions is the word versus, like, you don't have to be sad or you don't have to cry. You know, you're not told, you're, like, told, like, careful your emotions. Like, you're being emotional.
You're being emotional. Oh.
Yeah, that's like, and, you know, and it's like, I don't know if everyone would feel that watching the movie or get it, but I definitely was like, see what you're doing, screenwriter, and I am here for it. Thank you so much.
It's definitely something that a lot of men missed.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah,
missed in the movie,
and that's okay, you know. Like, but at least it's in there.
And
like,
there are all the people who are online like, that movie's boring. Captain Marvel's the most boring movie.
There's so much.
Again, 13-year-olds.
I hope so.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I don't know.
that's true. That's true.
Some of them are adults. It's just like they have the emotional capacity of 13-year-olds.
Yeah,
but again, like that's not their fault.
It's not their fault.
Yeah,
it's the world they grew up in. They're being, it's being beat out of them.
It's changing.
Literally.
It's changing, and that's what's exciting. I'm like, you look at these, you know, this powerhouse entertainment company that did not necessarily start out from the most like feminist, proactive, we're gonna involve everybody roots, like they are remedying what has happened, and because they don't have to, they didn't have to. If they wanted to, they could keep making these movies, and obviously there's like a pressure from society, like this is what we want. But it's not like they are making the choice to do this and to put this in there and to make a movie like Captain Marvel that maybe not everyone's gonna get, but people who we need to get it are gonna get it, and everyone else is gonna catch up. Well,
and like they saw, you know, it's like Wonder Woman made a ton of money and they're like, oh, maybe we can make money in this. And it's like, you made $1 billion. Not just like, oh, cool, opening weekend was good. It was like, you made $1 billion. Right, and they're like, oh.
There is money here. Like
they're trusting it.
This. Yeah. It's a proven model. I mean, it's the same thing with like Kaepernick. You know, it's like take the knee and Nike's like, oh, everyone's watching and paying attention and we kind of want to do the right thing and we can definitely make some money off of it. So fuck yeah, let's go. We totally support you. And it's like, I see that there's like the marketing behind it, and like you said, like, oh, this female-driven, you know, lead superhero movie made this amount of money. We can do that too, and it's like it's necessary to do it. So like, I am down for it. Like, I'm glad it's happening.
And they did it well. It wasn't like they just slapped together a movie. It was like, okay, let's let's care for this character the way we do everyone else, and like we're gonna trust our audience.
Right. Yeah.
You can tell that they're actually putting in the work.
Yeah. I mean, you can tell throughout this whole universe, again, rewatching it all together, you're just like, wow, so many details and like so many little things where you're just like, whoa, someone really thought about this.
Right.
Like, and it's awesome.
Right. I'm excited to see more of her movies.
Did you guys see the cameo from one of the directors in the movie?
Yeah.
Is it Joe or
I don't know which one it was.
Yeah,
but he was the guy in the support group who was talking about
playing
the date.
like a little gay guy.
Yeah.
I loved it.
Yeah.
I don't know if he's gay in real life, but I was like, oh, I like this.
That's cool.
I don't think he is, but they because they're getting a lot of pushback from the gay community right now about like, oh really, is that because they're like, we represented gay culture in this film.
Oh, okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're like loudly, proudly proclaiming like how important it was that they got LGBT content in there, and
the one line.
Right. It's like, oh, you have like a monologue of a gay character who never shows up again and is not a hero.
Right. Yeah, that is weird. I didn't know about that. Me as a straight woman was like, oh, cool.
Yeah, exactly. That was my experience the first time I watched it too. It was like, oh, that's nice. And then found out after that like, oh, they've been like really talking about this and trying to make it a marketing thing, and it's not that big a deal.
Valkyrie's like supposed to be gay though, right?
But there's Thompson has talked about her character being bisexual.
Yeah.
But I think if there was anything in the movie, they cut it.
Yeah, there's nothing.
There's like one moment in her like flashback when Loki where she's like reaching out and crying over like some woman that she lost, but they do not tell you who she is.
Yeah, there's no, and I only knew that because, again, a friend who read the comics was like, oh yeah, they're all gay or something like that. And I was like, ah, cool.
I think that's really interesting because like, and I don't like, to me, I didn't get that. And maybe, I absorbed it, and I'm grateful that I'm a person that's like, oh, this is normal. And I just accepted that as a normal thing. But I feel like it is very pointed, eloquently, creatively, definitely flowy, but I think it's very pointed, like those specific moments where they give all the females their scene. It's like feminist movement, where they give Captain America's responsibility to a black man. Like, we are changing the face of what this is supposed to be. So why would they promote this? Like, if they're going to promote this, I would have expected it to be something that was as pointed or as cared for or as like eloquent. Yeah. And I'm wondering why it wasn't. Like, if it was cut out and they're like, okay, this is too much, or we'll save it for the next one, or... Disney has been very cautious about how they use gay content in their... Like, that's true, they'll hint at it, but they're almost never direct about a character being gay. Like Elsa in Frozen? Maybe. We don't... that's, they're not being open. Gay. Is that why it's taking so fucking long for this movie to come out? Yeah. Probably. They're like when's the right time? Make sure people respond positively to this gay stuff. Like, oh God, there's a gay character in Avengers.
Is gay still trending? Is gay still trending?
It's at the beginning of the movie, so like the people angry about it will forget by the end, right? Like, we're just gonna drop this little scene in Endgame because we know everyone's gonna see it and everyone's gonna have to watch it, but we'll make it super short so it doesn't cause too much of a stink. Like, that's honestly what it feels like. They're just like very slowly, like this will be the bathroom break moment, right? Right. Like, you might watch it on a second try once you realize you already love it. Yeah. We'll make the person's name Sam so it could be a male or a woman. Like, we're not trying to pressure you too much.
If it doesn't test well.
Right.
I'll do some ADR.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
To me, the all the women coming to save Spider-Man moment, the saddest thing about that moment to me is that Black Widow is not in it. Because Scarlett Johansson was so instrumental in making this big change towards like supporting women in the Marvel universe. Like, she's the one who reached out to all the female characters and we're like, we're gonna storm into Kevin Feige's office and we're gonna say, where's our movie? Like, that was Scarlett Johansson. And so the fact that she dies before the moment when all the women finally get their moment is like, it's so heartbreaking.
That's just reality.
And she's the only one. She's the only one without superpowers. Yet she's still like an ass-kicking, like funny, awesome, beautiful, like powerful woman. And she dies, and there's no funeral for her. Where's ScarJo's funeral?
I know. Tony gets a big one, and everyone shows up.
And I get it. He's the first. His Iron Man was the first movie. Like, we totally get it, but there's literally one scene where Hawkeye and Scarlet Witch are talking like, I'm gonna miss her, and you're like, that's it? And Captain America has moments with her.
Hulk says
like,
it one more time.
Yeah, that's true. Hulk does. But like,
I really tried to bring her back.
That was the other thing, is like watching Hulk, because at the first I was like, oh, maybe I guess Hulk and Scarlet are like, that's no longer a thing. Like, there's no flirt. Like,
they never wrapped up that storyline.
But then when he finds out she dies, he's so upset, and it's like, bro, you haven't given her a hug.
Right.
You guys haven't been texting. Nothing. You haven't shown up on those screens when she's checking in.
And you just been like putting your brain into a
she is
body.
Depressed, eating PB&J and crying.
Where were you? Where were you, bruh?
What kind of strong man are you?
Right. When you were on that other planet, okay, cool, you're excused.
Maybe she got over him during that time. Like,
maybe.
She was just like, I have to focus on this right now and nothing else.
You've been gone for years, bro. Like,
but again, they don't talk about that. They could have talked about that in this movie.
Yeah, because it's 3 hours long.
It's a 3-hour movie. What's another 2 minutes?
Yeah, we don't need the football scene if we can get some Hulk ScarJo moments in there. Like,
but I mean, that like you said, like, testament, it's just like the reality. It's like the people who were like, hey, women should be able to vote, they're not the ones voting. They are long fucking gone. Like, she's like, hey, women deserve their own universe. Like, women deserve their own, like, shit. Women deserve their own. And they're like, well, we'll give you a 5-second scene at the end of this movie and you're not going to be in it. But you know what I mean? Like, I feel like she would have been like, okay, all right, that's better than us not being represented or
Yeah.
only being used as side characters, especially how she was in the beginning, like so sexy, so over the top, so like I'm gonna use my special skills to get this information from you,
Yeah.
and then she beat your ass, but like she still was showcased in that way because to fill that need of, you know, the viewers.
I mean, she was undercover, but she's still like sexy secretary, you know, like she wasn't like, yeah.
It's one of those things about the early Marvel movies where women were essentially only allowed to be love interests.
Yeah.
Or like temptations.
Yeah, and damsels and all
Yeah,
that.
so if we're gonna introduce Black Widow, like she should just be like a temptation for Tony from Pepper
Yeah.
to add a wrinkle in that dynamic.
Yeah.
Rather than just introduce her as a character on a mission.
Yeah.
Which is what she is.
Right.
I do think like they definitely gave her that moment of sacrificing herself. It's like, cool. I guess you are the only
That's
person
true.
strong enough
Yes.
to feel like, no, you need to be back with your family. Like, but you're right. I still wanted her to be with her girls and like, or at least have a longer moment at the end where people talk about her, a picture or something, like float something out in the water for her.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
Definitely.
you know,
Yeah.
like,
Because they were like, well, does she have a family? Like, I guess she doesn't have a family except for like
Us.
us.
Us,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah,
fam.
so
Yeah.
where's the funeral then?
Yeah.
Literally.
Bury her on the Avengers plot.
yeah, give her the Black Widow wing
Yeah.
or something. I don't know.
Redheaded stepchild.
Anyway,
I know. Sorry.
Literally.
Okay.
we all love Black Widow
Yeah.
on this podcast.
We love Black Widow.
Love you, Black Widow.
Can't wait till your shit comes out. I'm gonna watch
Yeah.
all of them in theaters.
All right, so as we kind of aim into wrapping this up,
4 more hours.
Right. We really could.
so how do we all feel? Let's all just say our general thoughts on how the film worked, how we feel about it as a film, and how we feel about it as an ending, and maybe some thoughts about what we think might be happening in the future, what we hope might be happening in the future. So we'll. Justine, do you want to go first?
Sure. Sure.
If you're not ready, we can.
Yeah.
Amber can go.
I mean, you know what's funny is thanks for putting women first, Justin.
Yeah.
No, you know what's funny is when I saw it, I was sort of like, okay, I didn't love it. I liked it fine. But actually now talking about it with you guys, I'm like, no, I really did like this movie. It's really good. But I think part of it was like, I didn't want it to end. So maybe that's why I was like, nope, hate it. I do wish again that they could have come back a little soon. Like, I think the beauty of Infinity War was, you know, Thor and the Guardians kind of meet. And then they meet up with Doctor Strange and Tony and Spider-Man, who met in New York. You know, like, there's like these moments where they kind of met each other and they all formed together.
It's all about new meetings and new
Yeah.
dynamics.
Yeah. And I kind of wish I wish that there was a little bit of that in this movie, or a little bit of like when Spider-Man says, Mr. Stark, I like died and then I woke up and Doctor Strange was there. It was like, oh, I kind of would have liked to have seen that. I would have liked to have seen them all coming back and like, you know,
But then we wouldn't have had that moment of all the circles opening.
I was gonna say, I love a good cavalry moment. Like, I do love that, but there was just something about. There's just a little something missing for me. It wasn't bad. I still really enjoyed it. And you're right. I did love that scene, especially. And I love that they started with Black Panther and Wakanda. You know, like that was like, yes. But I am happy with the wrap up. I think it was. I understand why Tony died. I don't think he needed to, but I understand it. I don't think ScarJo should have died, but we'll stop on that. And yeah, I don't really know for the future. I think it's just going to be reboots. I know that there's a new Spider-Man movie that I heard is supposed to take place in a different realm or something. Like,
I don't know. I think they've just been like teasing us about that because they didn't want to spoil that he survived this movie.
Gotcha. Yeah, which I guess that makes sense.
I think it takes place after this one.
Yeah, and I hope and I assume the Black Widow's gonna be like an origin story. I would hope, because I want to know what the hell happened to her.
Yeah. She's
Like,
got a really interesting origin
Yeah,
story.
I would
I'm sure
love
they're gonna
to see
change
that.
some of it for the movie, but it's,
Yeah.
I love her comics. They're so good, so good.
yeah.
I can't imagine her being like, yeah, kill me off and don't put me in the female scene.
Oh my
Like,
god.
next time.
Yeah. And
Like,
give my origin movie to someone else.
whatever.
Yeah.
No, she's gonna.
Hire
Yeah.
some like 16-year-old girl.
Yeah,
have
yeah.
her play young Black Widow. It'll be fine.
No,
It'll be cool,
Gonna
it'll be cool.
have a solid like. I mean,
Yeah.
she has to at least have a trilogy. Like everybody everybody else. Like, I think there's always gonna be that person.
Yeah, there's not gonna be just one.
Yeah,
you're right.
You gotta do it like, because it worked. You know, they had this model that worked. 3 Captain Americas, 3. You know, give them all their whole story, their whole arc. I cannot expect anything less than that from the women in the series that prove to be successful like the men do.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But sorry, this is your wrap up.
No. That's it. Again, I don't know the future. Again, I think it'll be very interesting now that Disney owns Fox. That's what I'm excited about, is like the way they do the mutants and like adding that Deadpool. Like, it'll be very interesting.
I'm wondering if they're gonna merge the universes.
I mean, I would feel like, well, I guess
why wouldn't
X-Men already got the reboot of young X-Men or whatever.
Introducing the idea of mutants to the MCU throws. It's difficult to explain away because mutants is like the next stage of evolution of humans. So like if people just start showing up with powers all of a sudden and they've never mentioned them before, and the plot of those movies is society does not accept them and doesn't want them to exist at all. It'd be weird that they never talked about that.
Well, maybe they're from anotof time, space.
They could be from another dimension.
And I think they would. I don't think they would add them to this universe. I think they would reboot, kind of like what they did with Spider-Man.
Entirely.
I think so. I mean, maybe not like a new Iron Man, but I think they would do something like the way they replaced Spider-Man, or now all of a sudden this Spider-Man was in Civil War, and like. It's like, okay, I guess we're forgetting about Tobey Maguire, but you know what I mean? But it's like, I feel like they're going to do something like that with it, I would assume.
I'm wondering if they might just have like spin-off series like they're doing with on Disney Plus, the streaming service. There's a TV show called Loki that's going to be on there about what Loki does after he takes the Space Stone in this movie and teleports away. Because now there's an alternate timeline.
Yeah. Wait, sorry, one more real quick question. So is Gamora back and alive and like...
Yes,
you know what I mean?
But
like,
it's
how
the
do we?
Previous version of her.
Yeah.
So she has no allegiance to any of the Guardians and doesn't want to hang out with them.
Okay.
Unless Nebula wants to.
Because I was like, that is not fair to Scarlett Johansson. But okay. But I did think that was interesting.
Yeah, that's I want to know what that timeline is like, because at the end Thor goes with them, right? He's just supposed to be the ride.
I really hope he's in Guardians 3.
That would be.
It looks like that's what he's gonna do.
I think it is.
That would be amazing.
I think it's gonna be the core Guardians minus Gamora plus Thor. Plus Mantis,
because
and then it's going to be about Quill trying to get Gamora back.
Or like not Thanos. What's the other? Because that one guy was in Captain Marvel. I guess he's dead though in this timeline.
Which one?
It's like he's from the first Guardians who was getting
Jimon Hansu, that actor from like Gladiator.
Oh, I don't know.
What does he do?
It's the blue guy, and he's got like the face, like it's like dark blue.
Ronan.
Ronan, yeah. But maybe that's. I guess that in this timeline he's dead. But he's mentioned in Captain Marvel.
I think he still was killed by the Guardians.
Okay.
Although,
but I'm wondering if
guess
that's
if that
something
never happens.
Right.
Yeah.
He could still be around.
Yeah. So that might be the third.
Because if Thanos just left that timeline to go to the future, then that started a new timeline. And all of the things that
time heist,
all the stuff that happened in space in this universe then hasn't happened.
Yeah.
So like, maybe Ragnarok didn't happen in a different timeline.
Yeah, I don't know. Oh, now we're getting into timelines.
Because
Star Trek.
Because they can definitely say that Xandar was not destroyed by Thanos now because he left the timeline before he even got the stone. So all the characters from Guardians, like John C. Reilly,
Glenn Close.
Glenn Close can come back.
Yeah. So you're right. It'll be interesting what they do.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
And I hope Thor's in the Guardians now.
Yeah.
And he doesn't get solo
and he's
movies
like
anymore.
Fit again.
I'm sure.
Sexy Thor.
I think that's why people are like, okay, we're gonna put Thor in another movie. If you want to see him buff again, you're gonna have to come see it. Like, it's great marketing strategy.
Oh man, Guardians of the Galaxy 3 is gonna break some box office records too.
Of course it is. They know what they're doing. They do.
Yeah, I know. They're such geniuses.
Because they've been saying like our new push in these movies is gonna be team ups. Because after Thor Ragnarok was a huge hit, they were like, well, Thor and Hulk in a movie together.
Yeah.
They're like, okay, so let's just start doing like weird combinations.
Yeah.
And even this next Spider-Man is like Spider-Man teams up with Jake Gyllenhaal, who's playing another wizard with all of Doctor Strange's powers.
Love it.
It's like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I think from an organizational standpoint, I love it. That's always been like my favorite thing is like watching the ramp up and seeing where they came from and looking at the opportunities they have now in conjunction with like the social issues and where we're going in terms of progress, how they're going to continue to create in entertaining ways and like push the box. And that's what I hope for. And that's what I see is these females. It's not going to be like how it was before, where it's just like the men are in it in a small little way in the corner. Like, obviously not. I think we're going to actually see a balance of the universes, balance of
genuine equality.
Yeah, and showcasing it correctly. Like, because first when I saw Captain Marvel, which this podcast should really just be called the Endgame / Captain Marvel, and I'm fine with that. But she was showcased, you know, when I saw the movie posters and stuff outside, I was bitching and complaining. I'm like, of course, this is the way they have to do it. They're like, we're going to give it to a woman, so we have to make sure she is blonde and has blue eyes and is white as fuck. And that's like what I saw in the poster. But again, like I was talking to somebody and they're like, you go to something for what you see and then you leave with something else. Like that is. And so when I saw that, I'm like, wow, that's so awesome. So like when she's fucking flying around with a mohawk and when she comes with chopped hair and she changes her outfit because it doesn't matter to her, I'm like, oh, you got me. You got me. I see what you're doing.
I'm here for it.
All right. Yeah. And I'm really excited. Like, I'm super excited to see what the ramifications of the continuing of this world and universe actually does in our universe. Because we're breaking box office. That means people are paying to see it. So now are people actually going to invest these values into their real lives? That's what I'm looking forward to. Because I think the answer is yes.
I think so.
I mean, I will say one more thing too.
You're allowed.
I know. I'm like, keep interrupting.
We're 4 women here.
We're just talking.
Well, I know, but I'm just like, okay, and here's also what I feel. Also in Black Panther, that was the first time I saw women outnumbered men in that movie. You know, it's like the main two people obviously are men, but the sister, the mom, his army, like
the entire Dora Milaje is women.
When he goes to like the heist of getting vibranium, he brings 2 women. Like he does not bring like Get Out guy. Can't remember his name.
Daniel Kaluuya.
But Kaluuya. No, but you know, it's like he brings his 2 best women, like his 2 strongest females. But I didn't even. You don't think of that when you're watching it. You're not like, whoa, 2 women. It's just, oh, this is the world. Here's how we're introduced. He's surrounded by a strong women, and that's who he's continuing the story with. And like, I think you're right. Like, that's going to seem more and more normal and not like, wow, Black women are powerful too. Right. You know, it's like, it's going to feel more normal.
And I hope that like when we get to that point, I'm like developed enough as a person to not be like that old grandma lady who's like,
What do you mean you don't vote? I was out there for hours getting this right, and you're just not gonna
do it. Like, I'm gonna like, don't take this shit for granted. We was getting shot in the streets. Like, I really want to know what it's like. Oh yeah, duh. Like, and I can't wait to see what the next thing that is progressive looks like. You know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's something you never heard of.
Right?
Yeah.
Because it's something that people who have not been comfortable announcing it publicly for fear of being judged have not announced publicly.
Nudist. I think it's going to be nudist.
Have been killed for or something.
It's going to be nudist.
I mean, that's going to be a big push.
I can't even think
I know.
of anything.
All right. Well, maybe we'll do like a time capsule.
We're going to have a whole Avengers that's just transgender heroes.
Yes.
Like,
love it.
How about it, right?
Yeah.
This whole like
that's
men
another
versus
10 years
women.
from now. But like, who knows, you know?
But we already have in this podcast
It'll be the gay Avengers first and then the trans Avengers.
And then it'll be another time heist and they're like, which pronoun do you prefer? As they're fighting.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
Yeah.
I'm for it. I'm for
when
it.
those conversations are happening in an Avengers movie, we've won.
Yeah.
Society is moving.
Yeah. So what are your final thoughts, Justin?
My final thoughts is I really, really liked this movie. It was not. Most of my predictions were wrong. It was not what I was expecting. It was a lot more straightforward than I was expecting. I really liked how they really finally dealt with grief on a serious level with all of these characters. like Thor has lost so much over the course of this franchise. When you watch all these movies together, he has lost everything. And so at the end of Infinity War, when Thanos like snidely is like, should have gone for the head, it's your fault, like he's finally dealing with these ramifications. And there's just a real weight that so many of these movies don't have because they lean on the fun side of things. And it's also a movie that is 3 hours long and mostly isn't action scenes. Like, it's mostly character moments. It's mostly all the in-between stuff that we need to, like, say goodbye to these characters because so many of them probably aren't coming back. So I thought it was a really, really nice send-off. I really like the overall message of the film, which is, like, hey, kids, save us. Like... You're the next generation, and you're the generation that has the ability. We're just a bunch of old farts. Like Tony says it early on, where he's like, I don't need anything from you anymore, Cap. What we need is her. And he points at Captain Marvel, like, she's new. She's new, and she's not tainted, and she's not, like, jaded anymore. Like, she can do this.
I was just going to say, I'm sorry to interrupt you again.
No,
but I wonder if they're setting up, because Hawkeye has a daughter. Tony Stark has a daughter.
Ant-Man has a daughter.
Captain Marvel has her little...
daughter.
Yeah.
There is a comic where all those characters team up and they're called like the Young Avengers.
Oh, and they're all women.
There's
I
a whole
just
bunch
like
of women.
as you were talking, I was like, wait a minute, they all have children.
Yeah.
that they, that they're training. They're not like no daughter of mine. They're definitely like, let's get you. I mean, not Stark's daughter, not as much, but when she comes out with the helmet, he's like proud. He's a little like, oh.
Well, there's a big character in the comics right now called Ms. Marvel, and she's a teenage girl who's a Muslim, and she has like stretchy powers and is like, she's like on the come up as a big comics character, and I'm wondering when they're going to introduce her into the films, because I'm sure it's coming.
Yeah,
but
that's got to be soon.
How receptive is this country to a Muslim superhero?
I know, I need it. I mean,
we
need it. But
like, let's go. Like, put it in. Like, after, like, I don't think Disney has gotten.
They've really shied away from religion in general as a concept. Like, none of the characters have a religion. We just kind of assume either they're atheist or Christian.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. But so many of them are from fucking outer space. Like, what does Gamora believe in? You know?
Right.
They're like, we are gods. What are you talking about? Like,
I would love Gamora's like,
Thor
oh, I'm
worship?
Jehovah. Like, oh, wait, what? That's a really oppressive religion.
Interesting.
Like, there are cultures on this planet that thought Thor was God.
Yeah.
Like, and now he's just a dude walking around. So,
Yeah.
like, maybe Jesus is a character in the future. Like,
oh my goodness.
Superhero Jesus showing up, walking on water. Like, they're like, oh, yeah, he's got powers.
Like, I didn't even know you existed.
He's like, hey, you can kill me. I'll come back in 3 days. Like, don't worry about it. Like, every time he dies, it's 3 days later. He's like, oh, man, again?
These smucks think I'm a god. I'm just an alien, guys.
So I liked the movie. It's not my favorite Marvel movie, but it's definitely one that I think is very rewatchable. Like, I was not bored for a second watching it for the second time, even though it was only 2 days later. So
and 3 hours long.
Yeah. I think when I go back and like pick whichever movies I'm gonna rewatch, this will be one of the ones that I do.
Yeah.
I might skip the first hour. Like, I might just go to the time heist and then watch the rest of it.
Yeah.
Because that first hour is brutal.
Yeah.
If I'm like, I want to cry, maybe I'll watch the first hour.
Or if you have to, like, if you have somebody who's like, I've never watched it and I want to get caught up, I feel like you can watch that first hour and like talk through it, and then this person, you know, and then
that's like
it's like an introduction. Like, I honestly think you could watch it in 3 parts. It'd be fun to like plan an event where you're like, all right, everyone who wants to come at 5 p.m. for this part.
I bet the studio though would hear this and be like, what the fuck? We didn't make a movie that you can talk through for an hour.
Right. Yeah, you're supposed
like,
to be feeling feelings.
Or if they're like, picture this. Like, when they're pitching it, the first hour is just a bunch of sadness. but in the future they'll get to talk through it and it's fine.
Right? It'll be great. It'll be great.
It'll make over $1 billion, we promise.
Right. Well, in that case, greenlit.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's my thoughts on the movie, and I've already talked about like where I kind of think it's going in the future. Justine, you got to go soonish, right?
Yes.
So
So get out.
I was just. I was gonna say, do we plug things? Can we plug?
Yeah, we can absolutely plug things.
I just started doing I guess like a dating column, but more of like stories about previous dates, like horror stories, things for a website called jaywalk.com.
Okay.
It's JEAWOK. Yeah, Jaywalk.
JEAWOK.
Yeah,
Jaywalk.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's just like, it's just like really funny and clever and cool. And then I'll just do little things, like I just did a little write up about Game of Thrones and just things like that, just randomly. But that's
Nice.
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fun.
Yeah,
that was
good
all.
plug.
Do you ever think of maybe turning that into a podcast one day?
I would love to turn it into a podcast.
Well, we might have something.
Do you guys know anyone
for
who
you.
records
I mean, I
podcasts
don't know.
or like
Maybe,
a convenient
I mean, we are like
place?
starting a podcast network. We're gonna have a
Oh.
podcast every day of the week with different people.
Wait, are you
hosting
really?
them. Yeah.
That's incredible, you guys.
Yeah.
Thank
That's
you.
awesome.
This is the first time we've talked about it publicly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So
You're
We're cutting this out. We're cutting this out.
No, yeah. Well, we enjoyed having you. This has been fun. You were our
This
first
was really
guest.
fun. I know.
yeah.
I keep like
Looking over the.
I know.
Yeah.
We gotta figure out
We'll
the
figure
system.
out
yeah.
the
No, this
setup.
is this was really fun. Thank you for like including me. I feel so special.
Yes.
You are welcome, and we're
Yeah.
happy to have you. I'm sure we'll have you back.
Well, welcome
Yeah.
back. I think we should have a deep dive on Captain Marvel. That's just my vote.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Let's do
why
it.
not?
Or like another movie. Or maybe if we ever have like a Harry Potter run, you can be like our guru.
Oh my gosh, you guys. I'm gonna sleep. I'm gonna stay here for a week. We're gonna talk every day about it.
That could be fun.
Me and Luna are gonna snuggle on that couch. It's gonna be
She
great.
will. She'll do it.
She'll share with you. All right.
She's-
fun
yeah.
stuff.
She's a cuddler.
Endgame.
Endgame.
This
And
was.
this was
Game
a-
over.
This is a long ass podcast. If you
Yeah.
made it here, like,
Yeah.
whew, so proud of you.
I know. Thanks, guys. Thanks for listening. And if you're my mom listening, hey, mom.
Because before this, we recorded 10 minutes on each movie.
Oh, that's. Oh,
So
Oh,
it's
that's-
4 hours before this part starts.
Again, thanks, mom, for listening. You're the only one who'll be here that long.
Right. We should really, and if you want to hear Justine's segment, fast forward
Yeah.
to
Yeah. Amber plugs.
plugs. Yes. Hi. Yes. At AmberTiana808. That's the gram. Also, make sure to tune in because we have shows live on IG every Wednesday, starting at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Instagram Live, and it is going to be leading up to our product launch for our digital detox, which is coming out very, very soon. Super excited. It is. It is going to be life-changing. We kind of like the digital Avengers, you know what I'm saying? Coming out with the things that's going to help save the world, like get off your fucking phone.
I'm listening.
Yes. Play with this, plug into this, paint this, listen, read this. So it's going to be very cool, and we're going to be talking about it leading up. And if you're listening to this podcast way in the future where we're not doing these lives anymore, you missed out.
Oh, they were lit. They were lit.
Yeah, so stay tuned. Just go to millennialmissionmedia.com. Stay updated. Bunch of new fun stuff.
Oh, yeah.
coming
Make sure to
soon.
follow Millennial Mission Media on Instagram because we're going to be promoting all of our new podcasts, all of our new content, all of our product and course launches.
Bunch of stuff.
Yeah. You can follow me. I'm at the Justin Xavier. And
Wait, Justine didn't give her Instagram. Or do you have a private account?
It's private.
Yeah.
I am an influencer. I have over
just
500
want-
followers.
Yes.
I just want like a bunch of people randomly following you. You can start like
I
a
don't know why I
separate
made it
account
private,
to
but
have people follow if you want.
You can, yeah.
Yeah,
private
I mean,
life private.
For your content.
Yeah, you can keep your private life private.
We'll talk
Okay.
about it.
Nothing wrong with that.
We'll do a consultation after the podcast.
Yeah.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you
My
for
life
coming
coaches.
over.
Thank you for listening to
Thank
this
you.
nightmarishly long podcast, and we'll see you next time. You're supposed to make a song. At the end
Oh,
of every
yeah.
podcast, she improvises a song.
I'm excited about this part.
So this is going to be about just the entire MCU. However many rhymes you want to come up with, it can be short.
Where's the list with my votes? We know what their scores?
Right here. This is
Ooh.
so you are in the A column. This is what you scored all the movies. I started it too low, so it starts here and then it wraps back up.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so it starts from Iron Man. Can I have this pen?
Yeah,
Real quick?
and this is also the order that you ranked them. based on your scores, I gave your list that you prefer the films in.
It's too much
Oh my
information.
gosh,
It's too much.
mansplaining over here.
I know,
Am I right,
too much
guys?
information. I thought we were okay with feminism. Okay, so it starts from here. All right, okay, I'm gonna try to keep this under wraps. Should we time it? I'm gonna try to keep it under a minute.
Okay.
5, 6. Okay, here we go. Iron Man didn't understand, didn't know what was going on. Ooh, coming in, we busting through with Incredible Hulk, baby, what you doing with all that green on? And now we rocking into the sequel. Okay, wanna see what's going on with Pepper Potts? And now we gonna go ahead to Wonder Universe because Thor got some shit going on. Okay, we kicking it back here in the USA. Captain America calling them shots. Oh, and now we got Avengers. That's right, everybody is included in the same damn plot. Here we go. We gonna wrap it up with Iron Man 3, but don't worry, Tony is gonna come back. And now we chilling in the Dark World. Honestly, I don't even remember anything about that. Now we got the Winter Soldier. Ooh, that shit is so cold. They be frosty with their words. And now we chilling it. Guardians of the Galaxy. Oh shit, Green Girl. Word. Now we killing it with Age of Ultron. I like that because I like all of that tech. Now Ant-Man is coming in. I gave that a high score, 9 out of 10. You bet. Till we chilling in the Civil War, we got so much fighting. That's why I gave it kind of a lower thing. And now we got Doctor Strange. We talking about meditation, chakras, and all kind of things. And now we over here, we going back to Guardians of the Galaxy, kicking it with 80s flair. We got Spider-Man, Hulk coming. They got a mixed chick up in there. Represent girl. Okay, Thor Ragnarok is all gonna fall down, but we bringing it back with the Panther. We got Infinity War. That's right, we fighting again. But honestly, let me tell you, you can stand up. Why? Because we got Ant-Man and we got the Wasp. You know, insects, they gonna be shrinking. And now we gonna lit it up and we gonna make it real big with Captain Marvel. What you thinking? I'm thinking that in this Endgame, it's gonna be legit. And Justin and I gave us the same score. We got a 9 out of 10. But honestly, friends, I think I'm gonna go ahead and give much more to the ones that's coming, because the female evolution is about to come up on your screen. That is what I'm talking about. This just came out my mouth, off the top of my head. This is where I sing. La la la, Endgame, la la la, end of the universe, la la la. It's all done now, and that was my freestyle verse.
Holy shit! That was incredible. Guys, that was all freestyled. She did not write any of that down. I'm a witness.
We have a witness.
Yeah, that is insane.
My armpits are so sweaty right now.
Wow.
That was long.
I know. That was good, though.
That was 22 movies.
Who'd have thought a female could rap? Listen to you. Wow.
And support from Marvel. Now I know.
All right.
You guys have been talking about the movies for so long, and I want to go for a walk outside.
All right. We will never do something this long again, Luna. I promise. Luna, you got anything to say? She's done.
Stop the recording.
Hey now, come follow me. We got a whole new world to build, baby. Creating everything all around us. Can't stop. We gotta go. We gotta get elevated, get in the know. You're about to learn all about us.
We're sorry. The number you have reached is not in